ते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3, Text number 12. Atha enam astaut avadharya purusham atainam astaut avadharya purusham param nata angaha kritadihi krita anjalihi param natanga kritadhi kritanjalihi स्वरोचिषा भारत सूतिकागृहम् स्वरोचिषा भारत सूतिकागृहम् विरोचयन्तम् गतभिः प्रभाववेत् विरोचयन्तं गतभिः प्रभाववेत् अथैनमस्तौद् अवधार्य पूरुषम् परं नताङ्गकृतधीकृताञ्जलिः स्वरोचिषा भारतसूतिकागृहम् विरोचयन्तं गतभिः प्रभाववेत्. Thereafter, Enam to the child, Astaut offered prayers, Avadharya understanding surely that the child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purusham, the Supreme Person, Param, transcendental, Nata Angaha, falling down, Kritadihi, with concentrated attention, Krita Anjalihi, with folded hands, Svarochisha, by the brilliance of his personal beauty, Bharata, O Maharaja Parikshit, descendant of Maharaja Bharata, Sutikagriham, the place where the Lord was born, Virochayantam, illuminating all around. Gatabhihi, all his fear disappeared. Prabhavavit, he could now understand the influence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaicharana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. O Maharaja Parikshit, descendant of King Bharata, Vasudeva could understand that this child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. Having concluded this, without a doubt, he became fearless. Bowing down with folded hands and concentrating his attention, he began to offer prayers to the child, who illuminated his birthplace by his natural influence. Kindly repeat the translation. O Maharaja Parikshit, descendant of King Bharata, Vasudeva could understand that this child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. Having concluded this, without a doubt, he became fearless. Bowing down with folded hands and concentrating his attention, he began to offer prayers to the child who illuminated his birthplace by his natural influence. Purport. Struck with such great wonder, Vasudeva now concentrated his attention on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understanding the influence of the Supreme Lord, he was surely fearless, since he understood that the Lord had appeared to give him protection. Gatabi Prabhavavit. Understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present, he appropriately offered prayers as follows. Thus ends the Bhakti purport and translation to Canto 10, Chapter 3, text number 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Maharaja Parikshit, describing how Vasudeva, when he saw Lord Krishna, he could immediately understand that this child, which is born of me and my wife Devaki, is no ordinary child, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana himself. Avadharya Purusham Param. So, he is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Avadharya Purusham Param. And therefore, Nata Anga Kritadhi Krita Anjali. He immediately bowed down with folded hands, with concentrated attention, bowed down, Nata Angaha, Krita Anjali with folded hands, Krita Dihi with concentrated attention, uh, Enam Astaut, he offered wonderful prayers to his beloved child, who is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hmm. He could understand that he is the Supreme Lord. How? Swarochisha Sutika Griham. This child has, by his own brilliance, Swarochisha, Rochisha means illumination, brilliance, which is actually Brahma Jyoti. Swarochisha Sutika Griham, the place of his birth, Sutika Griham, that was the prison house of Kamsa. So Krishna appeared in the prison house of Kamsa, Sutika Griham. Swarochisha, this child by his own illumination, Virochayantam, he illuminated the entire prison house. And Gatabi Prabhavavit, by the influence of this child's presence, Gatabihi, Vasudeva's fear was completely vanquished. He became completely free from all fear. This is the symptom of coming in presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is that? If you are actually Krishna conscious, if you have actually come in the presence of Krishna, the immediate symptom is you will become fearless. You will become anxiety free. So the first point here, Shukadeva Goswami explains how Vasudeva could immediately understand this child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the important point to note here is only the pure devotees of the Lord can detect that so and so is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ordinary persons, nobody can recognize the Supreme Lord. Only pure devotees can recognize the Supreme Lord with reference to the scriptures. We can see here Vasudeva understanding his child to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not just ordinary child. Similarly, we see many places in Bhagavatam how the pure devotees recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his appearance. In the case of Lord Varahade, he appeared from Brahma's nostrils, and when he appeared, he was no bigger than the size of a dust particle. This much only when he came out of his nose. And then he flew up in the sky, Lord Varahadev, and assumed a gigantic form, like that of a huge mountain. And he roared loudly, resounding that loud voice or the sound made by Varahadev resounded in all the three worlds. Lord Brahma, surrounded by Marichi and other great sages, could immediately understand, oh, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has personally appeared to allay all our fears. So Lord Brahma could recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Varaha as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Many examples are there. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita we see, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Channa Avatar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Channa Avatar, means covered incarnation. Channa means covered. Because he does not declare himself as God. That is his incarnation in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, the Lord does not declare himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the devotees with scriptural references and symptoms of the Supreme Lord could immediately detect him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if the Lord tries to cover himself from his supremacy, he could not cover himself from the vision of his pure devotees. They will immediately detect, no, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Swarup Damodar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal secretary, he recognized, even Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also explains, he detected Lord Chaitanya. Rupa Goswami also, another example, Rupa Goswami also detected Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, how do we recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Only by reference from the pure devotees. We could accept somebody as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, we'll be misled. We may be confused. We may be bewildered also. When Lord Narasimha Dev appeared from the pillar, bursting out of the pillar, when Lord Narasimha appeared, Hiranyakashipu got the first sight of Lord Narasimha when he burst out of the pillar. But when he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Lord Narasimha appear, he was bewildered, he was confused. What is this creature? Who is this? Where has he come from? Is he a human being? Is he an animal? Who is this? He could not recognize him as the Supreme Lord. Hiranyakashipu could not recognize him. But the moment Prahalad Maharaj, who also was present in the same hall of Hiranyakashipu, when he saw Lord Narasimha, the half lion, half man incarnation of Lord Vishnu, immediately he was very pleased to see his Lord. So Prahlad Maharaj, even though a 5-year child, he could detect, he could spot his Lord. He was not confused. He was not bewildered. He was not afraid. Rather, he was very pleased to see, oh, my Lord has come. Personally, I'm so glad. Like that. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 11th chapter, it's called Vishwarupa Darshana, the universal form of the Lord. When Lord Krishna displayed his universal form to Arjuna, thereby proving how he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and everything in this world is nothing but his manifestation, and he is all pervading. The Lord is all pervading, Sarva Vyapi. So, to prove that he is all pervading and everything is present within him, the Lord displayed his universal form. All the devatas, material elements, space, air, living entities, from devatas to human beings to asuras and all living creatures, everybody is present in his body. In other words, he is the source of everything. He is the cause of everything in this material world, whether living or non-living. The entire cosmic manifestation is depending on him. And nobody is free to act other than the Lord willing and sanctioning. So the Lord proved this by displaying the Vishwarupa. So Krishna says to Arjuna, but this form of mine is very difficult to see. I will give you a special eyes. Divyam dadami te chakshuhu. The beginning of the 11th chapter, Krishna says, I'll give you a special eyes. Divyam dadami te chakshuhu. Then Arjuna could see this Vishwarupa form of the Lord. And then Krishna says, even to see the Vishwarupa is very, very difficult. In text number 48, Krishna says, Naveda yagnair, na dhanair, na chakriyabhihi, na tapobihi ugrair, evam rupa shakya aham nriloke drashtum tvad anyena kuru pravira. O Arjuna, best of the Kuru warriors, because Arjuna appeared in the Kuru Vamsha. Kuru was a very, very great king who appeared in the Yadu dynasty. That's why actually it's called Kuru Vamsha. Pandavas belong to the Kuru Vamsha because of the great king by name Kuru. So Arjuna was the best among the kings in the Kuru Vamsha. So he is being addressed here as, oh, best of the Kuru warriors. No one before you, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying Vedas, na Veda, nor by performing sacrifices, na Yajna, nor by charities, na Danair, nor by any similar activities, na cha kriya bihi, na tapo bihi, nor by any kind of severe austerities, Tapobir Ugrai. Ugrai means very severe. Any kind of severe austerities. This form of mine cannot be seen. But Arjuna, only you have seen this. After having said that, now Krishna is telling, after showing the Vishwarupa to Arjuna, actually Arjuna became horrified by seeing the Vishwarupa form of the Lord, because Arjuna was a friend of Lord Krishna and he was accustomed to seeing Krishna in a very friendly, pleasing manner. But the Vishwarupa was very ghastly, very horrifying. So Arjuna became very disturbed. So Krishna said, my dear friend, don't become disturbed. I will take away the fear from you. And Arjuna requested, my lord, I don't want to see this universal form anymore. Please reveal your original form. Then Krishna assumed the Vishnu form, four-handed form. And after that, he assumed his own original form as two-handed Shyamasundara. So after Krishna manifested or displayed his two-handed form, Arjuna became very pleased, calm, satisfied, and very composed. His fear immediately dissipated. Then the Lord spoke some important things to Arjuna. So I will read that. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sudurdarsham idam rupam drishtavan asiyan mama deva api asya rupasya nityam darshana kankshinaha. So when Krishna displayed his Shyamasundara form to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he said, oh my dear Arjuna, Sudurdarsham idam rupam. This form of mind which you are seeing now is very, very difficult to be seen. Even more difficult to be seen than the Vishwarupa form. That's why he's used the word not Durdarsham, Sudurdarsham. Very difficult to be seen. Drishtavan Asiyan Mama. As you are actually seeing Drishtavan Asiyan Mama, my form, very difficult to see. Deva apiyasya rupasya. Even the devatas, asya rupasya, this form of mind, even they are ever desiring, seeking an opportunity to see this form of mind. That's what Krishna says, Prabhupada writes in the purport. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. Nityam darshana kankshinaha. They're ever desiring to see this form, but it is not easy for even the devatas to see this form. But I am showing this to you, Arjuna. Again, Krishna says here, once again, Naham Vedai na tapasa na danena na cha ijyaya shakya evam vido drashtum drishtavan asimam yatha. So this is text 53. The previous one was text 52. So here Krishna is saying text 53. This form which you are seeing, Shakya evam vido drashtum, which you are seeing now, Arjuna, with the transcendental eyes, drishtavan, cannot be understood. Na aham Veda, simply by studying Veda. This form of Krishna as Shyamasundara cannot be understood by descriptions from the Vedic literature. Cannot be understood. Na aham Veda, na tapasa. Somebody may do severe austerities, but still this form of Krishna as a two-handed Shyamasundara cannot be understood even by tapasvis. Na danena. You can give big charities, but still you cannot understand Krishna. Nacha ijjaya, and arrange uh, many kinds of sacrifices, yagnas, even by performing many yagnas, sacrifices as ordained by the scriptures, still you cannot understand Krishna and what this form of God means. Simam yatha, drishtavan asimam yatha. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Then text 54, Krishna says, then what is the means to understand this form, to see this form? Bhaktya tu ananyaya shakya aham evam vidorjuna. See, shakya evam vido drashtum Na. But here Krishna is saying, Aham evam vidorjuna. You can understand this form, see this form of mine. How? Bhaktyatu ananyaya shakya. Only by undivided devotional service. Means pure devotional service. Krishna used the word ananyaya, meaning pure devotional service. Ananyaya means not mixed with karma and jnana. Bhaktya tu ananyaya shakya. Shakya means the possibility of understanding me, seeing my form. Aham evam vidorjuna. As I am standing only by pure devotional service. So we can see Vasudeva, Prahalad Maharaj, all these great devotees because of their pure devotional attitude, because of their pure devotional service, because of the virtue of being pure devotees of Krishna, filled with love for Krishna, they are able to see the Lord, understand the Lord fully. However he appears, he may appear as a small child or as a wild boar in the forest like Varahadev, or as an aquatic in the waters. But the pure devotee of the Lord can immediately understand, oh, my Lord has come, he has appeared, and he becomes very glad. We saw Prahlad Maharaj understanding Narsimhadev. Similarly, we see every incarnation, Lord Brahma understanding Varahadev. Similarly, Satyavrata Maharaj understood Matsya. When he went to collect some waters, Satyavrata Maharaj, in his hands, when he went to collect water, a small fish appeared. And then that small fish started talking with this king, Satyavrata. Because this fish was very attached to Satyavrata. Very attached to Satyavrata. So Satyavrata thought, okay, it's a very nice fish. But he was surprised how the fish came into his palm. So then this fish told, my dear king, please take me with you. I want to come with you. He was wondering, oh, what is this fish talking with me, telling I want to be with him? Okay, he said, so can you put me in a pot and then take care of me? So he put that fish in a pot. No sooner that Satyavata Maharaj placed his fish in the pot, immediately he assumed the size of that pot. Then a big container. Hmm? Then again, this fish assumed the size of the big container. Then he put him in a lake. He assumed the size of that lake, this fish. Then he put him in a river. He became that much big. Then he put him in the ocean and he assumed a gigantic form. Immediately, Satyavrata Maharaj realized, oh, this is the Supreme Lord Himself. So, the devotees, there are many, many examples, they can understand the presence of the Lord, they can detect the Lord. So, although it is very difficult, as Krishna is saying, but the Lord cannot disclose His identity to His pure devotees. He becomes exposed to His pure devotees. So, what is the result of seeing the Supreme Lord? That also is explained here. Having concluded that this child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having concluded this without a doubt, he became fearless. Vasudeva became fearless. So, this is the result of seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, or realizing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You will become fearless. So, this is the result of seeing God. So, that is why it is described in the Bhagavatam. Bhayam dvitiya abhiniveshataha ishad apetasya viparyaya mukaha. It is described that fear arises only because of forgetting Krishna, or thinking that there is an existence other than Krishna. If you think there is a dual existence, actually there's only one in existence, that is Krishna or Vishnu. There's no second in existence. There's only one in existence, that is Krishna. If you think there is something other than Krishna also, immediately you will become fear. This is the origin of fear. Therefore, for a devotee, there is no question of fear. He is always fearless. That's why Kunti Maharani said, actually, even death is Krishna. There is no second existence other than Krishna. Life is Krishna, death is Krishna. Danger is Krishna, freedom from danger is also Krishna. So devotees lived and showed. Kunti Maharani, therefore, he just didn't make her point by lip service. She actually lived. And she even requested Krishna, Krishna, please arrange more calamities to come. Because when calamities come, you will be with us. And where is danger when you are there with us? Where is danger when you're there with us? The calamity can be anything. But if Krishna is there, there's no danger. This is the realization of these devotees. There's no danger. Rather, interestingly, Kunti Maharani said to Lord Krishna, my Lord, now I am afraid because you are going to go away. You are planning to leave us and go away to Dwaraka. Now, fear has begun. That means so long, all through her life, so many dangers the Kauravas had put her and her children. They had gone through so many dangers. She never considered anything as dangerous. Now she is saying, Krishna, now you are going away. Yudhishthira has become the king. Apparently all dangers are removed. No, no, no. You are leaving. Now I am sensing danger. This heart palpitation. So Krishna, please don't leave us. Please be with us. And I know if you have to be with us, I have to welcome danger. Because when danger is there, so you are Bhakta Vatsala. So you want to protect the devotees. Name Bhakta Pranashyati. So therefore, Krishna, I welcome dangers more and more. This is why Prabhupada, when he got initiated, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he kept his name as Abhay Charan Das. Even his father, Gaur Mohan De, named Srila Prabhupada originally as Abhay Charan. His initiated name also is the same thing, you see. Because Prabhupada's father was a pure devotee, Prabhupada's guru also was a pure devotee. So he had two fathers, both were pure devotees. The spiritual father, technically after initiation, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and his apparently material father, but actually spiritual father, a pure devotee, Gaur Mohan. Both of them kept his name as Abhay Charan, meaning one who is fearless, one who has become fearless, having taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. So by the very existence, they are fearless. By nature, they are fearless, not by sadhana. By nature, they are fearless because of their deep devotion to Krishna. Bhaja hure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charana Arabindare. Govinda Das, Kaviraj, one great devotee has prayed. Bhaja hure mana, if you chant and sing Krishna's name, you will become fearless immediately. So I said that how naturally they're fearless, right? There were two instances which I would share and then I will close in Prabhupada's personal life. Very interesting. This was in 1945, just after the war. There was a big war in India. Even before 1947, India got independence. There was a big war. And there's a lot of bombing and shooting was going on in Calcutta. So soon, just after the war, that time Srila Prabhupada has not started ISKCON because he started ISKCON in 1965, 66. So this was 1945 when Prabhupada was having a pharmacy business. And it was one of the topmost pharmaceutical companies in the country. And there was a prediction by the astrologer. If Prabhupada would have continued, this would have been one of the biggest pharmacies in the world. and he would have been the richest Indian in the world as per his astrological prediction. So that time Prabhupada had his pharmacy business in Calcutta. Soon after this war, for better prospects, he shifted his business to Lucknow. 1945, Prabhupada was investing 40,000 rupees. That time. Imagine how many lakhs it will be now. So 40,000 rupee, it was a big investment. And he wanted to invest more and more also. So he came to Lucknow. Hmm. So that time he wanted to establish his business, and then he was searching for one office space to start his business. He spotted one place, finalized one place, and then he moved. But many of the acquaintances, friends, neighbors, they said, after that building was acquired by Prabhupada, it happened to be that that building was haunted by ghosts, actually. So, but Prabhupada, his name being Abhay Charan, he was not afraid at all. So when he began his operations, he started his pharmaceutical operations, manufacturing medicines. Some of the workers came to him and said, Babu, Babu, there is a ghost. And Prabhupada said, nothing to worry, don't worry, don't worry. He went all through the building chanting Hare Krishna. And then he said, now there'll be no more ghosts, don't worry. Then the workers came back to work from the next day onwards. So the Prabhupada was very cool. The ghost is there, very cool. He goes around and chants Hare Krishna. And he said, now there are no more ghosts, don't worry. So natural for the pure devotee. So natural. That fearlessness you can see. In second instance, we all might have heard about this. This was John Lennon's estate. John Lennon was one of the Beatles. George Harrison was the lead in the Beatles group, and John Lennon was another prominent member of the Beatles group in the 1960s. So he purchased one estate in Tittenhurst, in a place near a place called Ascot, and it was a neglected estate, not well taken care of, something like a booth bungalow. In Indian terms, we say booth bungalow, neglected for decades. So nobody would enter that estate. So there was one bricklayer and his wife who wanted to occupy some portion of that estate. And there was a plan to establish one studio in that estate. So then they had to occupy that house, that estate. They were very, very concerned. Actually, this bricklayer, he didn't have any faith on ghosts because he heard that there is some kind of ghosts in this estate, but he didn't have any belief. But his wife would get dreams in the night like this. So this bricklayer, he describes the experience. Last night, I had gone running to John Lennon's house, terrified, complaining of sounds, chains rattling, boot heels pounding, and the noise of something like a body being dragged across the floor. Some body is being dragged across the floor. Nobody is there. But still, you will see a body being dragged. Nobody is there, but the shoes are pounding the ground. Then the bricklayer saw his wife violently shaken by the shoulders. Somebody is shaking his wife's shoulders. But if you see, nobody is there. So then devotees told about this to Prabhupada because John Lennon wanted to give this estate to ISKCON for the Hare Krishna devotees. So somehow Prabhupada got involved, and then devotees were telling Prabhupada about this instance. Then Prabhupada said, so you can tell John Lennon, if he wants, we can get rid of these ghosts. Like a normal thing, he's saying, if he wants, he can call us, we will tell the ghosts to go away. What normally Prabhupada is saying. Then Mukunda, one of Prabhupada's disciples, So he communicated this message to John Lennon. John Lennon said, "No, no, no. I have my own people. I will take care of the ghost." So he had one um, friend of his who was a white witch, and they're expert in allaying ghosts from the house. They're very expert. So this person came, friend of John Lennon, and then he tried all his might and expertise in trying to ward away the ghost, but nothing worked. Total failure. Mission failed. So he came back. So then John Allen said, "Okay, you can tell Swamiji if he wants, he can help me free the ghost from my estate." Then the next day, Prabhupada sent his group of devotees to chant Hare Krishna Kirtana in the estate. For about half an hour, they did Hare Krishna Kirtan in the John Lennon's ghost, ghostly haunted estate. And after that, the Kirtan ended, and then they all came and reported to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, "Now the ghost is gone." They just did Kirtan and came to Prabhupada and reported, "We have completed the Kirtan, Prabhupada." Prabhupada said, because Prabhupada didn't go to the estate. He only heard the news. Prabhupada said, means he could see, ghost is gone. So he told the devotees, the ghost is gone. Don't worry. John Lennon could occupy his estate. He could tell the bricklayer and his wife to occupy the estate. Nothing to worry. Next morning, Prabhupada was going for a walk. And John Lennon also was walking. The morning walks Prabhupada used to take. So he asked John Lennon, "So, Mr. John, how is the ghost doing?" Like that. So John said, "Oh, Prabhupada, the ghost is gone." The next day again, Prabhupada went for walking. Again asked, "So how is the ghost doing?" "Oh, there is no address of the ghosts at all." So that is the end of the ghost story in John Lennon's estate. So like that. So how? Just by taking Krishna's name, you will immediately become fearless and will ward away all kinds of ghosts and ghostly people, ghostly situations, deadly, horrifying situations, deadly, horrifying dreams. You will be free from all of these things, and peace will dawn immediately. So, this is the effect of Krishna consciousness. This is what Vasudeva experienced when he saw his child, having understood he is the Supreme Lord, became fearless, and he offered prayers to the Supreme Lord. And stop here, Grantaraj. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.